Hey.
Hi guys! How is everybody? I hope you guys are doing well, and you already know we have another video for you. This one
Mm-hmm.
is about social media is a social experiment, and we're going to
Show
be
is.
diving into influencer culture, parasocial relationships, and how this all impacts our everyday, and how we can use social media as a tool to guide us in our life and help us express our own creativity instead of relying on it to show us how to live. So, with that being
Period.
said, we're going to dive right in.
Let's just jump right on in. Okay.
Hmm.
So I think what we could talk about first would be, I feel like what's the most pressing issue in social
Hmm.
media today that everybody's kind of noticing, and that's that everybody looks the
The
same.
same.
Everybody looks the same. Y'all are getting the same filler, the same BBLs, or
Nose.
them taken out.
Yeah, yeah,
Same,
yeah.
same outfit, same
Ozempic.
aesthetic. Yeah, hello.
Like,
Yeah.
hello.
Like everybody is just a little carbon copy of one another, and it's getting a little scary.
Very.
And I think, I don't know, there was not enough uproar for me on the Pretty Little Thing rebrand, but
Yeah.
someone said
Jumping
it's
through a
like
prairie.
abnegation factions. And that was the most accurate description for me.
Yes.
Like it really hit a note for me, like in my childhood. Like I had to think about that one and it was real. But
You
like, yeah,
know,
why are y'all wearing prison colors on your
you
mini
know,
skirt?
you know what it is? I saw somebody talk about how people thought like from like 100 years ago, they thought today in 2020s, whatever. We would be like super futuristic,
I
a
know
ton
we
of
were robbed.
colors. But the reason why we have this like modern aesthetic where everything looks gray and just mundane, and that's
Lifeless.
right. And it's because of capitalism. It's easier to produce. It took a lot more time
Mm.
to produce a lot of colors and variations. And even when it comes to the way houses are built, cars are built, everything is done cheaper so they can profit off of it and make
And
money
quicker.
faster.
And yeah, and make money
Exactly.
faster. Yeah, because color has like a long standing history in culture and society and art and everything from clothing to even race. It's been a
Hmm.
big factor in our lives.
Yes.
And so to see it just phase its way out and
Gray.
move into this gray contemporary marble kitchen.
Yeah.
It's just like really sad to see.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm not standing for it. Okay.
Me
We need a
neither.
little color in our lives. It's a form of expression, it's symbolic. We need color and we need individuality. Can
Please.
y'all please stop wearing the same outfit? Can
Yeah.
y'all stop asking for the link? Like, go out and
Yes.
discover what it is that you like.
Hmm.
Be yourself, express
Hmm.
yourself outwardly. Don't just hop on whatever fast fashion medium it's getting you your dopamine hit for today and
Hmm.
putting that on. You don't have it on. You have on
Exactly.
what everybody else has on.
Literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Y'all
have
all have
to,
it on.
we all have it on. Like, we have to free ourselves, please. Free ourselves. Like even like the influencers, specifically like the white influencers, um, y'all literally be looking like packaged Barbie dolls for
I'm
real.
not
Like
gonna lie, I'm
all got
scared.
the same fit on. Honestly, I
Yeah.
think Barbie was a little bit more diverse, honestly. I don't really
Yeah.
know what doll you could be.
She had many outfits.
She had
Doctor
many
Barbie,
outfits.
veterinarian Barbie. I loved Barbie.
Beach Barbie.
Please.
Like, come
She was
on.
that
Like
girl.
she was like, I need y'all to actually be a little bit more like Barbie because right
Yes.
now it's giving everybody look the same Barbie. And that's a little scary. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that addition.
And
Like,
also,
why are
this
y'all all
is,
showing up?
yeah, this is your avatar. You can make it in
Exactly. Like,
whatever you
please
want to
customize
be.
it.
Why are you trying to be like her and her and her?
Yeah.
Y'all all look the same.
It's ridiculous. And honestly, I think I'd like to take it back to what you were saying in the beginning about how it's really less about an aesthetic and presenting yourself a certain way, because obviously none of these trends are inherently wrong. It's just about what they represent, which is this tight uniformity that keeps people complacent and enforces control. And it's a lot more political than you think, because that's another thing that like a lot of like fashion influencers, white fashion influencers have been saying is that fashion is not political, but fashion has always been political. It's always been a
Yes.
political statement. If we were in this mindset of fashion wasn't political, we'd also be wearing ankle length dresses right now. So let's be so for real.
Yeah.
Okay. Fashion has always been
Definitely
about
political.
political statements, and it's always reflected the times that we live in. So, with that being said, I just wanted to pull from this Substack article that I really resonated with, and I think really reflects the current state of the world, especially with like the office siren
Mm,
and the clean girl, soft glam. Like it
yes.
really just is repackaged um viability of what a woman should be instead of acknowledging the unique difference that every person has. Like, and then
Hmm.
it's that too. It's like it's definitely profiting specifically off of women.
Yes.
Personally, I don't really see any of these things happening to men. Like
You
they
know,
they do whatever the hell they want.
always. But even with you saying that, it's important to also acknowledge that pretty privilege is a thing. So the reason people are refrying other people's nachos when it comes to their hair color, nose, BBL, lip filler, is
Hmm.
because we live in a society that they know if they're more beautiful and beautiful to not only just themselves, but to everyone around them, it's easier for them to sell something.
Hmm.
It goes right back into capitalism because if you are able to market to more people than you originally could based off of arbitrary facts that you think are true about yourself, um, then you're going to change that.
Hmm.
So,
And it's also just the idea that women or conventionally attractive women are on the forefront of these lines because they're more trustworthy, or you're
hmm,
more likely to buy things from people that you're attracted to. Again, further disrupting the real artists who have something to say and have something to give, because you'd rather buy something that's easy because it's coming from somebody that you find attractive, which
exactly.
in my opinion is really patronizing, but whatever.
Hmm.
Anyways, so yeah, just to pull from this article, it's called Fascism Thrives Off of Women's Self-Doubt by Cece Fo Mibuli. I'm so sorry if I botched that pronunciation. But yeah, so I just want to talk about it a little bit. So to quote, take the clean girl aesthetic, for example. It's not just a look, but a performance of orderliness, restraint, and quiet femininity. The slick back hair, the minimal makeup, the neutral tones, an aesthetic that whispers, I take up space politely. And the way that this idea is connected to the belief that conventionally attractive women are often assumed to be more competent, kinder, and more trustworthy, the long-standing bias that authoritarian systems exploit. So,
Mm,
before we even go any further, let's really sit and digest that, right?
please.
Because from the physical appearance of makeup to your outfit, wearing very mundane tones that don't let you stand out too much, it puts women in this position of submission without even really having to try. Like
Yeah.
you're doing it subconsciously, thinking that you're like following a trend, but you know it's really elevating you because you're quiet. It's like
Yeah,
being seen but not being heard. But
period.
in that is a statement.
It
It's a
is.
statement that says, I'm okay with being perceived this way because I know it will open doors for me,
Yes.
but it will not keep you there.
Mm-mm.
It's so
No,
conditional. It's so conditional. And I think for me, like another great example of this would be like Ugly Betty. Have you seen it?
I have.
Yeah, like how
Mm.
everybody else in the office dress very like office attire, usually like
Yes.
black, white, gray, like very neutral toned down colors. But Betty's outfits were always so vibrant and full of life. And they made fun of her for it. It was like she
Yeah.
didn't fit in, she was standing out. But she was the one who really belonged there, if we're being honest.
Yes.
She had the
Yeah.
most to pour out creatively. And it just showed that outwardly. Like, how do you expect creative people to be silent? Like, really, like, it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
No.
Like, that's just doesn't even make any sense. And even myself, like, sometimes I'd be showing up to work in the most colorful outfits, and sometimes I do get looks. And you know what? I eat it up because, yeah, I'm not going to be a fly on the wall. I'm going to be loud in all
Hmm.
ways and more ways than one. Okay, I'll tell you that. It's going to come out
Hmm.
of my outfits, my appearance, and it's going to come out into my work ethic. So you can't have both. Okay.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, just this idea that there's no room for expression, there's no room for individuality, and it makes it easier because, like, when the beauty standard is set a certain way, it can be very reflective of the political state of a
Mhm.
country or capital. So when the fashion trends are pouring out outfits with the same neutral, boring tones, or trends with the same natural, vital makeup, it goes into like weaponizing things like beauty and health, and it just plagues the community of any actual authenticity or creativity
Mhm.
until you're left with whatever's making the most money.
Right.
So it just runs you dry. And I don't know, it's clearly very exploitive because it not only profits off of the standards put in place, but also the women who are subject to following them because
Exactly.
you
It-
want to keep up.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, is this idea of like the profiting off of pain, profiting off of what, and when I say that, I mean like as far as a lot of women, especially young women, are trying to look up to like their favorite influencer for how to be a woman, how to
Mm,
be beautiful, or what that looks like. So when you, like you said, put that in a pretty packaged bow, it's like, see, I'm doing my clean girl makeup. This is how you be a clean girl, and this is what femininity looks like. So
hmm.
buy this product, by the way. Use my link.
No, literally, my Amazon
Like,
storefront.
girl.
No, yeah. And I think that's what makes it so different, like influencing and micro celebrities to actual celebrities. One, that's a celebrity is a whole other can of worms, but
Yeah.
because influencers aren't actually celebrities, they profit off of their relatability or how
Yeah.
relatable they want you to think that they are to you. But in reality, there's a stark difference between the two of you. And really, they're just glorified marketers and sponsors
Oh,
who
yeah.
are just trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
And so that creates this really uncomfortable parasocial relationship of what's supposed to be like someone you're looking up to or someone you aspire to be, and they know that because they've been you. They've been in a
Yes.
place where they have, wanted things or they saw this life for themselves, and they can just quickly take reins. I'm not talking about all
Yeah,
influencers,
this is
but
definitely not
y'all know which
everybody.
ones I'm
Yeah, you
talking
don't know.
about. Y'all know.
You don't know.
Y'all know.
Yeah, you don't know.
And it's just really exploitive because there's no sense of loyalty, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that kind
Yeah.
of just comes from parasocial relationships in general. But I feel like with influencers, it's just a little bit more grimy because they're like always trying to sell you something because that's how they make their living. These are just glorified telemarketers. Like I'm telling you, like
Yes.
there's a product in your face every 5 minutes. Like it's not right. It's not right.
Yeah.
And then it
And
now pushes. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was saying it kind of like falls into this line of like being pressured to fit in or being pressured to fit into this, especially for women, this idea of what's beautiful, especially when you display yourself on social media, you want to feel like, okay, I belong in this space. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm.
this idea that you feel, or just peer pressure overall, like this whole office siren. I'm going to my 9 to 5. And now I gotta worry about being an
No,
office siren. Like you have
literally.
to really stop digesting what you see on social media and letting that impact your actual real life because that's just what it is. It's social media. It's a whole different world because a lot of times people's social media presence, they're nothing like that in person at
Literally.
all. It's like a stark difference. So you cannot allow yourself to be influenced by these influencers who are influenced by that bag.
Oh,
Don't let them make you be somebody you do not have to be.
no, literally. And I think that's just how it goes all back to consumerism, is that ultimately they are trying to just sell you something, but not even just a product. They're trying to sell you an idea of what success is, of what their life is. Because half of the time, these influencers do not have it like that. Like, I
No.
remember that girl who like got arrested for her
Yes,
$500 Target haul.
yes,
So you're
yes.
trying so hard to curate this image online of what this lifestyle is, of how you want to be perceived, so that way you can actually make it. And your public image is being corrupted. Even when we think about a lot of artists and celebrities too, like they don't actually have that much money. A lot of that stuff is
No.
borrowed. Their stylists are borrowing things.
Yes. You saw
They're
how
given a
DDG
budget.
took that coat back after that music video smelling like cologne and smoke. He said,
Yeah.
here
And
the
how
product back.
ghetto is that? My
Very.
God. That's
And
so
on top of
embarrassing.
that, inherently there's nothing wrong with doing that, but it's just
No, yeah,
again
I'm gonna say anything
that
about it. So
idea that he's always flexing. But yeah, you're right. But that idea that
Exactly.
he's always flexing money, but he's returning that thing to the store right back and getting his 6K right back. Yeah, he
Hmm.
needs that coin.
You
Economy's
need
getting
that
rough.
coin. Yeah. And that's just kind of what happens when you put your financial success in the hands of society and you let that mold what success looks like to you instead of looking internally and seeing what success means to you. Everything is about an
Yes.
image. Like, stop trying so hard to chase this fabrication of success that society has in place for you and that it's promised you based off of what you can do for them. Instead, say, fuck that, reject it and figure out what you need to do for yourself to get you the life that you deserve and the success that you are inherently granted. Like, it's
Hmm.
ridiculous that we have these conversations about what success is in the first place when we all have the capacity to be successful. We
Yes.
all have the resources to be successful. Success is abundance. So it's
Yes.
like the fact that it's even something that we have to chase so hard, or that people are like putting their lives in jeopardy for, or their image in jeopardy for, is ridiculous.
Right. And this is why you just said success. Success to you and me can mean completely different things. And that's what I think people need to understand is you cannot allow influencers to tell you how to live or to
Hmm.
show you what life is about. Go live it for
Hmm.
yourself. Go experience it for yourself. Because these lifestyles that you see online, you may think you want it because it's glorified and it's edited nicely and it's put in this way where a lot of people are liking it and sharing it, but in reality, that life is not really what you think it's all up to be. It's really
No.
not really, it may not be the life for you, but you
Hmm.
won't
And
know
half the
that
time
if you
it's
go live it.
exactly, and half the time it's not even real, but people are just, and that's the problem with like social media and influencing. Not only does it put this pressure on you to live a certain type of life, but it also enables you to be complacent in your own life because you're
Yes,
comfortable viewing someone else's life and kind of living vicariously through
through
them as a
them.
means of feeling success for a minute minute in the form of a dopamine hit. Like,
Yeah,
you're not actually making any strives toward the life that you want because you're so busy consuming someone else's life and allowing that to fill the void that you feel within yourself, all through
exactly.
what, like some 2D stimulation, like,
Mm,
and it's designed to keep you that way. There's always a next
yes.
episode button or a next video or a swipe up
Hmm.
endlessly to continue scrolling forever until
Yeah,
you realize, oh shit, it's been like 5 hours. You haven't done anything with your
with
day,
your life,
with
your real
your
3D
life,
physical life.
with your life. Like, how can you possibly expect to like make any strides in the 3D when you're literally living in the 2D?
Yeah,
Like, get off of that little box. It's time to log
please,
off.
gotta log off.
And not even just for your sanity, but just for like your life.
Hmm.
Like your
And
reality.
mhm.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, be very careful with what you ingest and what you
Hmm.
consume because that will replay in your subconscious. And things you have felt probably fine about in your life, now you'll feel like, oh, maybe I don't like this about myself. Maybe I think
Mm.
I want something else for me just because your favorite influencer does something different.
And half the time, it's like you don't even realize how it can like really invade your mind that way. And you're left with all these thoughts and feelings that you didn't even know you had and really aren't even your own because you spent so
Hmm.
much time consuming someone else's life. Like, that really does have an effect on you, especially
Hmm.
because we know that our world is really just a projection of the mind. So it's like if you're not nourishing your mind with at least some type of content that is, it doesn't always have to be like motivational, like you're not a self-improvement project, don't get me wrong. But
Hmm.
like if you're not putting in effort to have the life that you want, you can't like let yourself, you can't replace that with living someone else's life through a screen, you know?
Right.
Um,
Very true. And
yeah.
it's this like kind of like FOMO feeling. I saw this video. This girl, she was like 19 and she was like, I need to move out. I see all these other people doing this. Like, I just want to start my life. I just want to do this. And I think what people don't understand is with social media, sometimes you don't get to see people in their transitional phases.
Hmm.
And I mean the ugly ones. I mean the ones
Hmm.
where they still living at home, grinding. Life is quote unquote
Regular nine to
normal,
five.
just regular. You don't get to
Hmm.
see people at their truest form. And not only that, the form that they live in 95% of the time. That's people's life, is a regular Tuesday. How do
Hmm.
you want your regular everyday Tuesday to be?
Yeah.
And that's
You gotta
something
figure that
that you
out.
have to think for within yourself and curate the life you want for yourself in the present moment. You can't just sit here hoping something will happen. You have to actually work towards it and put your foot down in accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish, whether that's finishing school or say you do want to do social media as well, but do it in a way that's true to yourself and that has nothing to do with trying to be someone else or trying to get to this certain spot in life because you'll be endlessly chasing something. Because the
Definitely.
reality of it all, society changes, people's opinion changes. Like when I saw how they, I saw this video how they said they successfully canceled Fanita. Um, I don't know if you know who that is. Do you know
Yeah, I
who
know
that
who
is?
Fanita is, but
Yeah.
I don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah, well, they were because apparently, like, she has a lot of views, but doesn't get a lot of likes or whatever the case may
Mm,
be. But
hmm.
it's because she caused a lot of controversy online.
Yeah, yeah, she sure
But
did. Mhm.
right, no, she did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's just this fact that like you cannot rely on people's public opinion to disrupt your life or what you have going on. Because yes, you may not have liked what Fanita says or whatever, but why do y'all assume that everything she says must be perfect? Or why did you allow her to like take up that much room in your mind? As far
Mm,
as people think that their favorite influencer or celebrity needs to be a politician as well, needs to be an activist, needs to be all these other things. And don't get me wrong, I think when you do have a platform, it's important to share and outsource, but that doesn't mean that you need to be the voice of that or that that person should. I think they
mm.
should have an outlet to give resources to people who actually know what they're talking about.
That's real. Um, yeah, I think there's definitely like a time and place. And I think that's kind of the thing about the internet is that it reinforces the idea that everyone is supposed to share the same opinion. So
Yes.
it kind of it has a hard time differentiating like time and place for certain conversations. Like, I'm not gonna lie, do I think social media is the best place to talk about politics? No. No, I don't. But it is definitely a tool, and there are specific activists and journalists and writers who don't do that for a living.
Hmm.
But, that doesn't necessarily have to pour into everybody's life or,
Exactly.
their content or whatever.
Hmm.
But I do think it's, up for conversation, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But as far as like cancel culture and everything, that just goes right back into the idea that you really have to just be doing this for you. Obviously, don't say anything crazy. Like she did do some
Yeah, yeah.
crazy things,
No, she was doing too
but like
much.
that's just like how quickly like people's ideas and opinions of you can change and just how quickly you change. So you have to
Yeah.
really know like what it is that you're trying to say and what it is that you want to represent, how you want to be seen, and not because you want to curate an image for somebody else, but because you just want to always show up authentically so that way you
Hmm.
don't end up in regret about what it is that you're
Right.
saying. Because at the end of the day, I feel like Fanita, she was just playing a character. Like she just
Yeah.
had a character that was going on for too long and she didn't really know what to do. And this is where we ended up. So it's like
Yeah.
when you're constantly in this role of like performative,
Yes.
this performative nature for a camera, it's like you're gonna
And
have this, you're gonna come to terms with yourself and
yes.
struggle with figuring out who you are.
And I think that's you really just kind of encapsulated what I was really trying to say as well too, because it's really just this idea that you're right, she's playing a character, but not only that, she was trying to it's like she always had to top herself, the craziest
Yeah.
thing. And I think
Hmm.
that's why she was kind of focused on that virality, but not
Hmm.
realizing that, dang, my words actually have an impact on people and
Hmm.
my words actually matter to people. But I think on the other hand, it's important to realize that you can't just assume people's character because they're an influencer. You don't actually
Hmm.
know them in real
Or an
life.
artist or whatever.
Right. And it again, it stems back from this parasocial relationship where people think, oh my God, I love them so much. How did they end up being a Trump supporter? And it's like, you how would
But
you
it's
know
also like,
though?
I
We
think
don't
it's
talk
this
about
idea
politics.
of literally, but I think it's also like this idea of like having to be really consistent in your social media presence, how you show up.
Yeah.
It doesn't make much room, it doesn't allow for much room for expansion or growth. Like I always see people talking about like who are like diehard fans would be like, I miss the old so and so, I miss this and that. And I get it, like that's
Yeah,
what attracted you to that person in the first place, but they are just that, they're a person.
a
So they're allowed
person.
to change and grow and develop in a way that I guess you may not necessarily like as much as you used to, but they should be allotted that luxury, but they're really not. But
Right. Kind of like also dehumanizes the person on the screen. It makes you think that
mhm,
you can put your own ideas and thoughts onto that individual because you're seeing them and because you like their
mhm,
content or because you like what they do or whatever. When in reality, you don't know much about them.
yeah.
You're only seeing
And I
like
like
what
the
they
idea
choose
of
to
what
show
you were
you.
saying.
Mhm.
Definitely. Like you're like literally seeing 1% of their life.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of what you were saying about how content always has to be, or the character always has to be like bigger and better. But it's like that's where it gets really dehumanizing because it's like they're a people, they're a person, not a product. So it's like
Exactly.
you're expecting behaviors that like of a product. Like you want
Yes.
something, you get
Always the
used to it. Okay,
same.
what's new? What can be different? What can be better? But
Yes.
like people aren't wired that way. Like
No.
people are just coming onto this platform as a mean of expression. And sometimes if you do put yourself in that position, um, of this, consumer-based relationship, then that's a little different. But like
Right.
as far as like artists who are like really genuine about their passions and whatever it is that they're sharing, I think it's unfair for the consumer to
Yes.
then want to enforce them to always come bigger and better and harder. Like really, hmm, it's just a really difficult situation. And it relies too heavily on the supply and demand rather than the
Yes.
actual loyalty and nature of appreciation that goes into someone coming to share something with you, something that's very vulnerable
Exactly.
for them.
hmm And
So
that's
it
why,
just kind of,
mhm.
oh, go ahead.
I was saying, that's why it's important to understand too that you're just ingesting content. It's not, has nothing to do with real life. It really doesn't.
It
Um,
really doesn't.
so you have to understand what you're ingesting and choose to scroll away. I'm not gonna lie, we need to start scrolling away more. Just close
Yeah.
that phone,
Hit not interested.
please.
Because then that just further pushes capitalism because it just further pushes the need to consume, consume, consume. And it's just that is literally what it takes for a capitalistic society to thrive. So it's
Yes,
like you demanding these things from people, it's just putting them in a position to further exploit you. Like,
exactly.
are you
And
not picking up the
it's
pieces?
also bad for the creator as well because it's like, what new video can I make? I need to do this. This is trending. I need to talk about this. And it's instead of talking about topics or concepts that actually you're engaged with or you care about or things going on, if you notice a lot of times, if one thing goes viral, then you have 10 other people talking about the same thing
The
to
same damn
kind of
thing.
like get on the tail end of that virality. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And in certain ways, that's not a bad thing. It's just this point of we need more space for creativity. We need more space for genuine conversations, new conversations. I swear, I'll see the same conversation like 20 times. And I'm
No,
like, are we
literally.
okay? Do y'all got nothing else to talk about? I'm tired.
And I think that is because of the rigid format of social media, is that it enforces like the exact same repetitive conversations and topics and nuances to the point where it's like nothing is niche, nothing is
Mm-hmm.
different, nothing is new and exciting and refreshing because everybody's talking about the same thing, everybody's focused on the same people. So it just sheds away at the layers of creativity because people are going to conform to what is necessary to get them those clicks, to get them those likes,
Yes,
instead of coming with authenticity that moves people and that they need and that we need as a community to push us forward. Like we're living
exactly.
in the past talking about the same damn thing. If I hear one more person talking about Hailey Bieber's obsession with Justin Bieber, I'm gonna lose my
Yes,
fucking mind.
I'm
I'm gonna lose it.
so
We've been
tired.
talking about that since they've been married.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, we knew whatever. We don't know these people
Yeah,
also.
we also
Like
don't know.
we don't actually know what happened. And I don't care. I don't
Yes.
care.
Because notice how a lot of these concepts, again, do not actually affect your real life.
They don't matter.
They don't actually matter. These are just concepts.
These are just concepts, the concept of a plan to keep
Yes.
you, the fan,
On a
engaged as a
clothes,
consumer.
scrolling. That's all
They
they
are
want you
just,
doing.
that's all they want you to do. They just want to keep you in this simple state of stagnancy so
Hmm.
that you don't actually go out and do anything to
Yes.
disrupt their system.
Yes,
That is all that is happening.
that is the purpose of the algorithm. It's to keep you in a loop over and over and over. If you notice, if you like one thing, the next one comes right in just to keep you glued to your phone and out of reality. They
Mm.
want to keep you in this, fake place instead of living your real life and curating life you want for yourself.
And the thing
So,
I noticed about social media, for me at least, and I think a lot of people would agree, is that it kind of feels like a video game. It's like if you want to laugh, you can click a button, it's gonna make you laugh. If you want to
yes.
cry, you can watch a movie, it's gonna make you cry. If you want to feel any type of emotion, like it's like putting your emotions on this weird console where you can just click a button and have a feedback response where it's like
Hmm.
it's a different level of stimulus that is really unhealthy and it's
Very.
not supposed to like you're supposed to live life and feel emotions as you live life,
Yes.
not like as you spend a copious amount of time on the internet, you know?
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with like wanting to de-stress or like, go to the internet to like have a good time or whatever. But it's like when that's clearly becoming all consuming and affecting your creative outlook and the way you express yourself, that's when it's becoming like a real problem.
Right. And emotional responses typically take like 30 to 90 seconds to fully resolve. So when you're like scrolling through your phone, and you're scrolling here, you laugh for 30 seconds, then you cry for 30 seconds over here, then you're laughing again. It really starts to mess with your dopamine.
Yeah, like your brain doesn't even have a minute to catch up because
It
it's
doesn't.
constantly being fed this stimuli that is co-inflicting with one another. Like one thing
Mm-hmm.
is making you do this, another way is making you feel this way. You don't have time to actually digest all the content that you're consuming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, where do you think all
Yeah,
that is going?
exactly. Especially when we're coming into a generation of kids who don't know life without an iPad. They don't know life without technology. Before, children used to say, I want to be a doctor, a firefighter, a police officer. Now they're saying they want to be a streamer.
Yeah.
So I think we all have to realize that because social media is happening so fast, kids are growing up faster. Everything is happening at this rapid pace that if you yourself do not allow yourself to slow down, you'll get lost in it too.
And it's really just another way to push this hustle culture,
Yes,
productivity pendulum that if you're not constantly in the loop, if you're not constantly on the grind doing something all the time, you're a failure. You're
exactly.
lazy, you're a bum. Like even like I was talking to my coworker and he was talking about how like he's older, but
Hmm.
he grew up around maybe the 60s or 70s. He was talking about if you weren't married or in college by the time you were 18 years old, you were considered a bum.
Mm.
And now what do we have here? We now have people flaunting this luxurious lifestyle at 18, people who have made it at 18 truly, and leaving other 18-year-olds to feel in distress about their lifestyle and their reality and where they
Hmm.
stand because they don't feel like they've made enough of a strive to
You're
have the life that
right.
they need or that they think
Exactly.
they need because that's just what's being promoted to them. So it's
Exactly.
like it's a really interesting cycle to see us heading backwards. Like it's like we're
Literally.
like regressing into these societal norms that do nothing but prevent us from having any real experience. Because just because you've like had financial success at such a young age, it's like all the character development that you had the opportunity to receive through going through and like gaining that earnestly, it's like gone.
Um,
It's and there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. Like
mm-mm.
make your bread, but like
Yeah.
now what?
Now what? Oh, girl, we have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Yeah, okay, okay, okay. Okay. Well, this was a fun run.
Very much
Um,
fun.
definitely just, take a minute to log off, touch the grass,
Please
feel the rain in your
go on a
skin,
walk.
go on a
Smell some
walk,
fresh air.
please.
Listen to the birds chirp at 6 a.m.
It's actually really nice to
It's
hear.
very nice. Do a
Hmm.
little, sunbathing, log off.
Log off. Let your mind rest,
Hmm.
okay?
And live in the present moment. Live in real life. Do not live online.
Please.
But with that, we are going to end with a T quote that I would like to
Hmm.
share. Today's tea quote, and I am drinking some nice little lemon tea. It's very good for your immune system. Hop on that.
Yeah.
So here is the tea quote. Every neighbor can be your teacher. And I
Wow.
loved that because that is so true. You can learn so many things from literally anybody. So it's important to open your mind and have a different perspective and realize that you don't need to learn from your influencer. You can learn from the local bakery guy.
No, literally. 'Cause that's
You
what social
can
media
learn,
does. It attaches you from
yes.
your actual community.
Your actual, exactly, your the people that have life to share with you in your everyday life, whether you're going to the movie theater or you talk to the front desk person or you just have a small conversation with somebody at the grocery store. Those people can be your teachers and help you through life. So I just thought that was beautiful.
No, that's really hitting the spot.
Hmm.
Really. Get off of that phone, go talk to people.
Yes.
Get over your social anxiety that's been curated by
Hmm.
social media.
Please, please.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
listening.
Thank
I
you.
hope you enjoyed this Yap session
Hmm.
and come back next week for more.
Got to.
Bye.
Bye.